Good morning, afternoon, and good night. My name is Mr. Sunchips. Today I'm joined by one of my best friends in the whole wide world. He goes by none other than Stinker 1964 on Xbox Live. Or Jimmy.
Or James if you're yelling at me.
Oh. Oh, man. That's good to know. I'll write that down. Today we got some sweet topics. I totally didn't look them up like 5 minutes before this, so we're just gonna jump into one. Let's go. Let's start off with something easy.
Ooh, I like easy.
Yeah, that's why we're friends. I was easy. Football season. How's football season? I'm not a football guy.
I haven't watched any football before, so
Never watched any football, huh?
no. The clothes I just got from Goodwill. No, the seasons went pretty good. They started pretty good. They lost the other day, and they looked terrible. And a lot of their guys got banged up, which has been their MO the last few years, but it's been pretty good.
They're getting banged up. Like a lot of your guys are getting injured on the job, huh?
Yeah, lots of work comp. Definitely short-term disability going on there.
Nice. That's how you build a legacy, though, right?
Yeah.
Lots of blood and lots of concussions. Well, they're in the main season, right?
Yeah, they're 3-1. First month is done.
Okay.
Well, for them, rest Vikings and other folks play tomorrow, but the first quarter of their season's done so far, and they're 3-1, which isn't bad. If they can finish, if they kept at it all year, they'd finish 9-3. Or that's not right.
How many games in total?
16.
16, 9-3. That's about 12.
Yeah.
You're missing 4, right?
Would it be 12-4? That sounds right.
That's pretty close.
And that would get them into the playoffs.
Okay.
But we'll see. It's a long season. The first month sucks. The preseason, they used to play their starters, and now they pretty much none of the starters play at all. So the first month of the regular season is pretty much like preseason. Everybody's just trying to get their legs underneath them. So
Gotcha.
I think the meat and potatoes starts in October.
Oh, when they actually start trying.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Get their football speed back.
That's true. That's interesting, though. I think that's in like a lot of sports. Isn't that how it goes? The beginning is just kind of.
I don't know. What's basketball
around.
preseason like?
Well, the preseason's.
Is it called preseason or exhibition or?
It's preseason. It's almost like they bring some cats out of the D League. They're like, hey, because I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And then you never see him in the regular season because they just keep him on the bench the whole time. But it seems like at the beginning of the season and also preseason, they do play a lot of their like lesser known players or their rookies or whatever a lot more in the first half, and then they start, really trying in the back half. I don't know. Just seem maybe to like not gas out their players. Probably.
Is that what the point of the preseason is for basketball then? Is just to try to diamonds in the rough looking for? I mean,
I guess. I think I consider it maybe just like
warm-ups?
practice.
Yeah,
it's like just practice. Because they can run drills all summer, but until they get back in front of another player, they're not really up to par yet. So it's almost like just a little practice. But so how did the Packers do last year in comparison?
Oh. It was a long year.
Oh, it was not good.
Yeah, I think they finished 6-9-1 is what their record was.
Okay.
It was the first second year in a row they missed the playoffs after going like 8 years straight, I think.
Ooh.
And I don't think they've missed the playoffs 3 years in a row in a long time. So if they miss the playoffs, it is going to be rough. But last year, they were playing just terrible. Rodgers had some kind of break in his leg that he got in the first game, and I mean, he was wrecked. But he hobbled through the whole season, and I actually went to a game with my aunt, and it was a fun game because it was Lambeau, but it was an 8-hour drive there, and just so people are aware, it's normally like 5 hours or 4, but it was storming so bad.
Oh, it was storming.
Yeah, it was just glare ice, the freeways. So we were on the freeways going like 30 miles an hour. I couldn't see anything. It was snowing. It was a horrible, horrible drive. They they lost in the last seconds. Their kicker was going for a field goal, and our angle was just off kiltered from the field goal post. And I thought it went through and started cheering when they missed the final field goal. Like, woo, yeah. And it wasn't until I saw some other people like, no.
Oh, man.
Like, oh, shit. I probably should be cheering.
Right. A little confused there for a second.
Yeah. And on the ride back, I had told my aunt that that's it for their coach. He's been their coach since 2007, I think. And he'd done really good. Like I said, 8 years straight in the playoffs. But I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's done. And before we got home the next day, I got a notification that Packers fired Mike McCarthy. And it didn't get any better from there. There was like 4 games left. The team they lost to, the Cardinals, I think they won 2, maybe 3 games last year. And one of them was against the Packers that day.
Oh, man. Wow.
So starting 3-1 is already leaps and bounds above where they were last year.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like you got some action on the baby monitor. Sounds like she's going ham. Got World War III coming in hot.
Yeah. We got some babies upstairs.
Code 304.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, that's good that they're at least starting out strong.
Yeah, they haven't started hot in a while.
What do you think it's been? Do you think it's been coaching staff, players? Just, you said players were pretty bad, you know,
they get injured a lot, and I think when last time they won the Super Bowl, they got injured a lot, but I think they had a lot more quality depth. So, like, obviously, if Aaron Rodgers goes down, it's going to cripple the team. It's, you know, not to compare him, saying he's the greatest, like Michael Jordan, but if you're missing Jordan out of the team, it's not the same team.
Right.
I mean, but if you take out a couple of the key guys, Scottie Pippen, for example, they're still going to be contenders. They got, you know, he's a star, but he's not the star. And they dealt with a lot of injuries and they had depth. And I think the way the football draft works, if you finish, when you're going to the playoffs all them times, you're finishing with a good record and you're picking towards the bottom quarter of the draft.
True.
So when you're picking the 25th, 30th best player 8-9 years in a row, I mean, it's hard to get really good quality players, and that's how it is every round. It doesn't snake. So if they draft 30th, they'll get 30th pick, and then they're going to be the 30th pick the next round. So it'll be the, you know, 62nd player.
Sure.
So I think a lot of that had to do with it, and they had to cut ties with a lot of players, and they signed a lot of free agents this offseason. They spent big money. So I think it's brought a new energy, the players they brought in. So it's kind of, I think they just kind of got stagnant. I mean, you work at the same job, do the same repetitive thing. Like, you need something to get that juice going again.
Right.
So I think bringing in those new guys and kind of flushing out some of the staleness. I mean, they're good players, but I think that's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah, definitely flushing some people out and bringing some new minds in, I don't think is ever really going to hurt your team unless you're going to, you know, maybe piss off some of your stars, but some of the stars need it. They need a change of scenery, and they need a change of pace as far as the teammates they're given and stuff like that. But, well, here's to the future of the Green Bay Packers. We're, for those who don't know, which is pretty much everybody, we're neighbors as far as states are considered. So, except I don't really follow football too much, other than, you know, what I hear from the locals. But I don't really root for the Vikings, so it's not like we're feuding or anything. You know, we can get along.
As long as he's not rooting for the Vikings.
Yeah, true. Is that why you egg my license plate every time I come over?
That's right. I don't like that. Minnesota plates.
Yeah.
I'd just soon take it off if I had a little more time.
That's why I always got my eye on you.
Eggs work. The yolk rubs off.
Yeah.
They're good.
Shit. We'll get into another subject here. There's a random one that I was talking about the other day. See, some of these subjects I just kind of pull out of my ass, and then I'm like, oh shit. Like the other day I was talking to Megan about one. It's like, oh fuck, I should write that down. That actually is a good subject. I should write it down quick.
And did you?
Yeah, this one was one of them.
Oh, nice.
This one is how we consider technology growing so fast versus the past, and how like my point was how she was upgrading her phone, and the phone was 5 years old. And when I say that, I think a general amount of people listening here would probably be like, wow, a 5-year-old phone, that's pretty old. And that's fine. But then I brought up a point with her that it's crazy to think that, 1600s or 1500s, whatever, way back then, a 5-year difference really didn't amount to much as far as, how drastic the technology's changed. I feel like in the past, I don't know, 30 years, shit's gone crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, complete 180 from what we used to been, or what we have been used to dealing with, I guess, with the coming of the internet and small computers and them just getting smaller and smaller. So it was just kind of funny to hear that like, oh wow, this phone is so old, but in the grand scheme of human existence as we know it, it's really not that old.
Right. That makes me ancient.
Yeah. We're just relics. We're just dinosaurs walking on the planet. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting because I don't know. I just feel like we take for granted how much we've advanced, and then we complain about an old phone. Like, sorry, I sucked a little bit too much dick today.
Yeah, you did.
That's the pre-podcast video you'll catch on Pornhub. No, it's just I was used to dialing up to play Ultima Online on a computer.
Yes.
And here's a little story, is that I played online too much when I was a kid, and they had to move the computer into my sister's room because I'd be going online and stuff. And I still had to dial up. Like, I had to get on the internet. So I'd stuff a pillow between the computer and the wall so that the dial-up kind of thing. Yeah, I just tried to like calm that down, and it did. But I also like wondered if I might have started a fire. Might have accidentally.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Probably not the best idea.
Yeah, probably not. But I had to go for it. I needed to level up my character some more.
I need that fix.
Yeah, definitely. That's really what it was. I need to get that internet fix. But yeah, I don't know. I think we take for granted sometimes the technology. I mean, you can't see it on camera if you're watching this on YouTube, but this man is a connoisseur of technology as you look at the wall adjacent to us.
Yeah.
Do you think you think we take for granted some of this stuff sometimes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can look. There's no question about anything. I mean, I have no sense of direction. If it wasn't for being able to punch an address in on my phone, I don't know what I would do at all. And I'm 100% serious. I'd punch in GPS. my family's lived in the same place for the last 20 years. And I still throw their address in the GPS when I go up there because they kind of live, pretty rural area. So it's kind of back roads. But my wife, who's known them for 5 of the 20 years they've lived there, she can direct me there. So if she's I don't need my GPS.
Yeah.
And I think about it sometimes like, God, how would I manage? Like, and it's something as simple as that, but I don't know what I would do. I'd have maps all over in my car. This is how I get to the in-laws' house. This is how I get to grandmother's house.
Oh, shit.
And there's a lot of stuff you can do like that. Kids watching videos. Like, are you guys kidding me? I had to press... My sister didn't rewind the damn movie. Now I got to sit here for 20 minutes and wait for this movie to rewind.
Right.
There's so much.
Yeah.
And I don't think... I realize it and I think about it on occasion, but I don't think a lot of people... Like you said, I think they kind of take it for granted and don't realize that it wasn't as simple as like, oh, I'll open my tablet, I'll flip on my smart TV and watch whatever I feel like seeing. It was a lot.
Yeah, right. It was way different.
And even then, VHS, our grandparents would probably say, oh, you guys think you had it bad with your VHS? Well, Stan was on the roof.
Yeah,
trying to get a Christmas Story for 15 minutes, trying not to fall off the roof.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah, big time. And it just gets different the more you go back. But, yeah, I feel like the more you go back, the less drastic it gets. Because think about, like, radio. That was probably a huge fucking thing when that became commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hearing stations and just tuning in. Like, what is that? Like, the mainstay of families, like, huddling around a radio to listen to the programming that's going on. We're a pretty fucking far cry from that shit nowadays.
Right, and that was like the big thing for probably like 20 years. That was like it.
Yeah.
And now the S11 is the big thing for like 3 days. And did you hear about the iPhone 26G?
Oh, no. I have the 26.7 G Plus XL 9.4. I don't know what the one you're talking about is.
Do you see the cameras on the back of that new one? Looks like the Razr, the new iPhone 11.
Well, wait.
Is that what it is? The new one, 11?
It's got it? Or is it 10?
I think the new one that just came out is the 11.
Yeah.
But you see them 3?
Yeah,
it looks like one of them rotary or whatever Razr. That's what I think of, like the old Remington.
Like I kind of see it as like I don't know, what is that that agent, that secret agent on Snake. Snake's using his goggles that he has.
Oh, the night vision ones?
Yeah, they're kind of like night vision. They do all sorts of shit, though. Yeah. That's kind of what it looked like some secret agent alien type shit. Yeah, man, I can't wait for the iPhone 24. It's going to have 24 cameras, I heard.
I already pre-ordered the 26. So that's going to be pretty legit.
Yeah, but I heard that it only has 25 cameras. They were giving them shit about it.
Yeah, and I'm a little concerned because their current deal with their screens, it's going to expire the year before, so I'm not sure what kind of technology they'll be using for it.
Yeah.
If they'll renew the contract.
I don't want to use last year's screen.
I know, that's junk.
I want the 99.97% screen-to-body ratio. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's definitely almost a bezel on mine, and I don't like it at all.
There's almost a bezel.
I thought about trying to sand it down.
Almost a bezel. Oh, you're going to sand it down? You're going to do a mod quick?
It's going to be full-on bezel-less.
I'm shaving that fucking bezels clean off. Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so just remember, kids, we don't have to sit in front of the radio anymore. That's that life lesson for you. What else we got on the board here? I have. Let's just go. I didn't even notice you over there. Let's cut into a little about how things have been going. You just got married. That was a fun wedding, by the way. Thank you for that.
I think I was there.
Yeah. It was hard to tell if I was looking at a beer can or if I was looking at you. No, I mean the day of. I mean, during the wedding, it didn't seem like you were drinking all that much, but
No, because I drank so much the day before that I didn't have much of a hankering for it the day of.
right. That's how it goes. But also relatively not too long ago, you guys also made your own mini-me. So, things have been really coming up for you as far as adult life, right?
Yeah, being an adult sucks.
Way to make it appealing for
I
all
want
of
a
our...
divorce and I want to get rid of this leech.
Already just nickel and diming me, damn it, into
She's
the ground.
almost 2. I can't stand it. Been married for almost 2 months now. It's horrible.
Jeez, man. You're in the thick.
Bring me back to the VHS days. No, it's went pretty good.
That's awesome.
I don't know. It's like I told you the other day. There's bumps and bruises, but it's just like anything else. I mean, not
That's
literal.
life.
Not like she keeps hitting me and pushing me down the stairs.
We did have to have a talk about that. I was wondering, she was
I've been staying at a battered woman's shelter for a little while now.
Oh, God. No, I mean, it's always been really awesome to see you guys flourish, and, you guys got your own house, got married, got your own kid. Like, you guys are really hammering it in as far as, like, the settling down kind of thing, which, I mean, some people don't like settling down, but for me, I'm all about being comfortable.
Yeah, and it went pretty quick, too. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Our kid turns 2 next week. We got married a month and a half ago, just under 2 months ago. I'm just going to keep going up. 12 years. No, it was beginning of August. And bought this house last June. So in the course of the 2 years, like, I'm just going to cram all the adultness in and get it out of the way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Then we can move on to bigger and better.
Yeah, smooth sailing. I'm done with that adulting now.
Right. Let's soak in the riches now.
Thinking about retiring soon now.
Right.
Now I got the rest of that stuff behind me.
Yep, definitely. Gotta retire before 40. That's the new fad,
And I don't mean to brag, but I got 5 figures in my retirement, so I should be set for a while.
Yeah, I would definitely I'd definitely get out now. Go get a job at a gas station, real mellow.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This gas station would be a good one. I like the people that work there.
You get a walk in every day.
I feel like it's Cheers when I go in there. Like, oh, hey, Jimmy, you want the usual?
Oh, shit.
Give me a couple tall boys and some fireballs.
Oh, yeah. To those who wouldn't know, this gas station has a separate liquor store, which is a commodity. Let's be honest. That's not all. Walmart does have. Wait, does your Walmart have a
No,
liquor
it doesn't,
store?
and it sucks.
Shit, we do. Fuck.
I didn't drink growing up because I was a kid, and kids don't drink because drinking's not meant for children.
Yeah.
And I just never dabbled in it. But where I grew up, everything had beer in it. Every store. The grocery store had a beer aisle, and every bait store, which... It was a small rural town where there was a bait store every 5 miles. They sold beer. Every place you would go would sell beer.
Right.
And now I moved away and drink beer, and my Walmart doesn't sell beer. The gas station he's referring to is split in the middle, so you have to go on the back half to get said beer. It's separated. And there's some kind of law in the state, or not the state, but this area, so they can't make any more places that sell beer. So,
oh, dang.
Our quote is reached.
Oh, geez, they're at capacity.
But I got a drive-through beer store, and that's pretty sweet.
Beer store?
Oh, yeah. Liquor store.
Drive-through?
Yeah, drive-through.
So what? You just like, can I get a 12-pack, no pickles?
Yep. Can I get a fifth of vodka, 12-pack of Mint Golden Light, and they'll toss you some Tootsie Rolls for the kid in the back seat if you got one.
Is there like a menu or something?
There actually is. When you look, this is the only bar I usually go to. It's a bar as well.
Well, that's the only place I'd go to too. Shit.
But it's cool because it's really old and kind of run down, but it's like just old people hang out there. I went there the one time and there's literally some guy in there with an oxygen tank and his buddy playing cribbage drinking sodas.
Oh,
like
shit.
They weren't even drinking. It was just a couple of 60, 70-year-old guys.
Sure.
We're just here to play cards, so there's no riffraff. So I can go there, have a couple drinks, and it's just nice, quiet, and chill. But when you pull up to the drive-thru, they've got like a menu that says Michelob Golden Draft Light, $11.75, Coors Light 6-pack.
That's pretty sweet. We've come a long way since, our burger chains with drive-thrus. Now you got Starbucks, alcohol,
beer stores. Carl told me, my best man told me that down in Texas, they got drive-thru where you can order like a margarita.
What? Like
you
a mixed drink?
Yeah, like you're just like, oh, can I get a strawberry margarita? No ice, extra strawberry.
Get the fuck out of
here. And they
here.
just hand you a margarita like, here you go, have a nice day, sir.
Drink and drive, no problem. Hey, you want our 0.6 special? Right. If you're at 0, we'll send you right to where you need to be.
And if you're over 250 pounds, we got this 0.6 special.
It's called the 0.6 plus. Yeah. The 0.6 plus special.
Yeah.
We don't fuck around. We have lab tested this concoction is guaranteed to get you exactly underneath the limit every time.
Yeah, I never understood it when they first explained bars in school. You mean to tell me that drinking and driving is bad, but once I'm old enough, I can drive and get shithoused? And well, how am I going to get home then? Like I said, I grew up in a rural place. The closest bar was 10 miles away. So like my mom never went to the bar like I told you earlier. But if she would, how is she getting home? It's not like she's Ubering home 10 miles out in the country. There ain't no taxis out there.
Right.
So why are you telling me that bars are even legal? Like, oh, you get sober cabs. Like, yeah, 1 in 37 people at the bar are getting sober cab. A lot of drunk people I've known would argue with me like, I don't need a ride, like you're hammered.
Right. Oh, for sure. I always wondered that. Like, okay, so why don't cops just sit outside of a bar and watch for people to get in?
It's illegal.
So that
it's entrapment.
That's entrapment.
Yeah,
correct.
But that's stupid. Like, that's like if you can't sit and watch them do cocaine and then pull them over for it. Like, what? That's entrapment. Like, they were breaking the law. How?
I've seen you doing cocaine, sir.
But you were sitting there watching him stumble into his car. Like, yeah, that's my job, is to prevent him from stumbling into his car and then stumbling over old Susie trying to get home.
Right. Exactly. I don't know. It always seems so funky to me. Just the whole, I don't know. You have something that's public and you can drive to, but you can't drive home, which that's the law. I'm not arguing that, but I don't know. Why do those places even exist then? I don't know. Maybe, maybe you should just be responsible and get a drive, but why even enable? I feel like it's enabling.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, an event is different, I feel like. Because you're not there to solely just drink.
Right.
A bar, I feel like you're there to, mingle with other people. But the main objective of going to a bar is to, ingest alcohol. Okay, so while you were upstairs, tending to your young one, I was scrolling through Reddit and I seen this. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Doing some research.
Yeah, well, research kind of. But I did see this post, and I thought it was pretty interesting because it was like we were talking about the internet and everything and how, things are just different. And there's this Reddit that is called Shower Thoughts, and it's where you kind of like, those weird thoughts you have in the shower.
Like Pornhub? Different thoughts?
That's another podcast. No, just kind of random thoughts that come across your mind when, you're just kind of thinking about whatever. When you're just, I don't know, lost in thought, just kind of thinking about nothing and something all at the same time. But, okay, so what I got here, I thought it was pretty good. Most kids today will never have to face the awkwardness of calling a girl at home and having her dad answer the phone. You don't have to.
Yes.
And another thing to bounce off of that is, remember how, like, maybe you were trying to get a hold of somebody and you tried to call them, and when they didn't answer, that was it. You didn't know anything else. That was it. You didn't know where they were. You couldn't look up a Facebook, see if they posted something on Facebook or.
Well, they checked in a Texas Roadhouse 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. There was nothing like that. I don't know if there's like something to say about privacy or I don't know. But going back to that dad thing, yeah, it was always kind of odd trying to call somebody and really hoping that you didn't have to get answered by somebody other than the person you're trying to get a hold of. But like, why would your like 12-year-old friend answer the phone first?
Right.
I don't know. Do you miss anything like that? Do you miss any of that?
I don't know. I think back and some of it's interesting. I don't know if we had phone wars at our house, man. So we had 5 kids, and I mean, it was a fight to get that damn phone because we had 3 teenagers at a time in that house.
Oh man.
And my sister was brutal. Like, she actually busted one of our cordless phone bases with a hatchet one time.
Holy shit.
Because I want to get off the phone. So I don't really miss them days at all.
Yeah.
Or the same thing. I'm on this phone talking all super sweet to my 13-year-old lady friend on the other end.
Right.
Then find out that my sister or somebody else is listening on the phone downstairs the whole time.
Oh, great. Oh, that's stupid.
So I don't miss trying to be, you know what I mean? You didn't have as many siblings, but you still had a couple.
Yeah.
But maybe they're younger than you, so maybe it was a little bit later. But yeah, it sucked. It sucked with a lot of siblings having that shared line.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I think we were 3 years apart, all 3 of us. So, and then my older brother, he was just, he was out way, because we're a bit different in age in comparison to the rest of us. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely I definitely don't miss like having to take up a dedicated line to tap into dial-up.
Oh, yeah. Or if you couldn't afford it, then like, what do you want? Do you want the phone or the internet? Because you cannot have both.
Right. Oh, my gosh. So many times I'd have my mom just absolutely fucking irate because she's like, no internet while I'm at work because I need to be able to call in. Fuck that. I got stuff to do. And I'd try to estimate it and get off. And then, I'd be like, okay, well, I'll get off for a while. I'd get off for maybe like 10 minutes and then be like, well, she hasn't called. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You think about that and I don't know. I don't think we're really at a loss. It's just different. Things are just different. I don't miss some of that stuff though, for sure.
I mean, it's memories, but
sure.
Like that hatchet one, I'll remember it for probably forever, but it's not necessarily my best childhood memory.
Yeah, that's true. Don't need to.
Here's Molly.
Don't need to keep that in the scrapbook, basically. Got a couple more subjects here. This one I just thought was funny. Video games and stigma playing them as an adult and how that's kind of like changed over the years. Because I don't know, when I was when we met, I feel like it was appropriate for us to play video games. But when, like, currently, do you find what we were doing this evening, appropriate for our age?
Sex?
Oh.
I don't see any issue with it. I've always thought it's a good outlet. I mean, it's not as good as like exercising or
Sex isn't as good as exercising. We're talking about video games, folks. Sorry, had to go right back there. Yeah, you're right.
It's not as good as some things, but I mean, it's at least it's not crack.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, crack plus video games. Now that's a whole nother.
Somebody in a game review I read back when magazines were a big thing.
Yeah,
I wish I remember what game it was, but they compared it to a crack-filled Krispy Kreme donut.
Wow, now that's a video game you want to play,
Right, and that's what I thought. Like, that's the highest of compliments, literally.
Holy shit! Yeah, I'll agree with you. It is an outlet. It's I just remember I don't know, maybe not too long ago. I guess I don't know the young kids' opinions, but I feel like at one point it was almost lame to play video games as an adult.
It probably still is. We just don't realize because we're the lame-os. The other kids are like, God, what a bunch of losers.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I don't know. I feel like at the same time it's been more acceptable. Because you get to a point where there's a tipping point where there's more older, or there's more, not older, there's more of the general population playing video games than not. And it's like, how can you?
And it might be because we grew up with it too. I mean, if you think about it, like our parents didn't grow up when they were kids. They weren't playing Pong. They were playing kick the can. I mean, they weren't playing Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
So by the time it started getting big, they're 30 years old and something new, they weren't going to pick up the controller. I mean, my mom played a little bit back in the day, but she had kids to raise, so she couldn't follow it religiously, where we were kids and we played the Xbox and Mom, I want, or you started with the Super Nintendo, then you got the next one or the generation after that.
Right.
So we've kind of grown up with it, and always, it's realistically the Nintendo I think we got when I was a couple years old, and I always had a game system in the house since then. So it's probably got something to do with the fact that we've kind of grown up with them. Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's familiar to us, whether they're like complex or not. I feel like maybe what's also happened is as the games have progressed and became, some of them are almost like theatrical presentations for you to enjoy rather than, be so. It's not your Fortnite. It's some of those Telltale games, I think, are a little more story driven. Even, some of the non-story driven games can be very, and what is that? Like, you can get really into it. It's very immersive is what I'm looking for.
God of War is a good one. I know you haven't played that new one, but
I haven't.
I mean, that thing's just a masterpiece. Like, the game it's a great game, but there's so much depth and so much story to it that it's almost like I don't even care about the game. I just let me know more. What's happening? What's going on? I mean, it's like a good movie, really.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's kind of also what's opened it up for the age range, is that it's not all about, the Call of Duties and the shooters, the shooting games, and I don't know, the quick action. Or it's just me making an excuse to say it's okay for me to play video games.
It's still real to me.
Yeah, it's still real to me. I don't know. I guess that's not going to really stop me from playing video games. I've definitely found that it's harder to really, I think you were talking about it with Borderlands 3, how you hadn't really, really got in deep to a game where it was like long sessions, and I feel like that's faded away from me a lot. And it almost feels subconscious. It doesn't feel like it's a choice. It just kind of feels like that's how things, fell into place, that I just got other shit going on, and video games just seem like what we're doing now. I think I was talking about this before, but what we're doing now is far more enjoyable than, unless it's a theatrical masterpiece. I just don't want to sit in front of it forever and knowing all this other shit that's going on around me. I don't know.
I do, but then I realize, like you said, there's so much other stuff. Like sometimes I think about like Jason, and I mean he gets to sink a ton of time in games, and sometimes I think about it and think I wish I could dump that time. But like you said, then I realize like, well, then I wouldn't be able to go on the trips like I was telling you about, do some of the other stuff like you said, like this.
Right.
So I enjoy my games, but I mean, there's a lot of other cool stuff out there too.
Yeah. Yeah, like the entire fucking universe. I wish we could all just have like really badass telescopes so we could all just see the amazing shit that's out there.
I should get one. That'd be sweet.
You can get like a really nice one for not that much money in comparison to what you think it would be. Like there's some really professional things out there, but you really only need so much. It's a difference if you're trying to like take pictures. It's another if you're just trying to like look with your own naked eye.
See, I just want to have different things like that for the kids. So, like, if one of them decides, like, this is the coolest thing ever, like, all right, sweet, now we know. Like, I don't want them onto the games. I don't want them to be like, that's my thing. That's what
True.
That's what I spend all my free time doing. Like, I'm cool. I like gaming, and I'm cool with the kids doing it. But I want to give them, better things. Like if they got into stars, great. If sports, great. So, but you don't know what it is. I mean, everybody's different. Me and my siblings have completely different tastes. So I just want to give them little tastes of, the different things that are out there and see what sticks. That way I know because I know what I like, but I don't want to push it on them. Give them what's out there and see what they enjoy.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I think the stars are pretty cool. I mean, I don't get big into it, but maybe one of the kids would love it. Then I'd get into it. I don't know.
Right. I mean, look at how much we funded into NASA. I think I seen one thing. It was like for every $1 we invest into NASA, we get back 17.
Nice.
So that's what they approximate. I don't know the whole how they break that thing down, but to know that at least our investments are being, we can see that we're getting something back, a return on our investment in some way, shape, or form, whether it be like a discovery or
a fake moon landing.
God damn it. Yeah, we just having a fake like 6 of them. Jesus Christ. I love that though, because so many people say we didn't go, but then it's like Russia went first, I think, and then like it was just all sorts of people, but we just didn't do it.
Yeah, I never understood why people.
Who cares?
Right.
There's nothing there anyway. Even if we did want to go.
Right. So I never understood why people thought they'd make it up, but whatever. Maybe they did, and I'm the fool. I don't know.
Well, here's another thing. It's like taking a fucking slingshot with a tiny pebble and trying to hit a moving target. We did that like, I don't know, 15 times with Mars already. We've shot so many different like robots there.
Yeah, the rovers.
Yeah, but how the fuck? But we didn't go to fucking the moon that was like 10 feet away from us in comparison. It's just like, come on, man. We got robots just roaming this fucking planet with big ass fucking nuclear batteries inside of them and shit. But nah, we didn't stop at this shitty rock that's...
Have you ever thought about how cool that would be? I mean, I'd be scared shitless getting launched up there, especially that early. Like you said, technology has advanced so much that like a rocket now is probably pretty damn safe. But a rocket, what was it, the 70s?
Oh, shit.
Like, no. I wouldn't trust a car back then compared to now, no less a goddamn rocket shooting me to the moon. But say you did after you shit yourself on the way thinking you were going to die because you're in this rocket that you have. I think every calculation is right, but if you're slightly off, you're
kaboom.
But you finally make it there and then being like you said, there's nothing there, but how awesome would that be to be the one guy to get out and be like, I was on the moon? Like,
man, my stomach kind of, because you see all these pictures and stuff.
Right.
And they kind of bring things into perspective. I feel like for me anyway, I look at some of these pictures, see how small the world is just from the moon. And that just makes me feel so insignificant in a good way. Like I kind of come to realization, hey, calm down. It's not this big deal. It's this tiny, 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 tiny thing that you dropped your fucking lunch. That's that's the tiniest thing that's happening in the universe. But then I feel like if we got out there and actually seen it for ourselves, that'd be like stomach dropping. That would make me feel really queasy just seeing, like, I don't know, this little pebble floating in the middle of fucking nowhere. That's creepy. Open water and open space is not my no thanks. You want to torture me? Push me out in either. I'm done. I'll pass out probably. I'll be honest with you. That shit freaks me out. But I don't know. I feel like as a human race, every one of us should go to the moon and look at the Earth. Be like, dude, you're nothing. Stop acting like the world revolves around us when there's so much other shit going on out there. I don't know how we got to the moon landing versus playing video games as adults, but congratulations for us. I just looked at the last subject. I was like, wait, how did we get here?
Because video games can take you to the moon, man.
That's true. Holy shit. I guess. I mean, you could play a bunch of like, there's a game on PC, Kirby's Space Program or something, and it's like realistic as fuck. I don't know how to say the first word, but it's like you set up rockets and shit and actually try to take them off. Give kids that. You got fucking Elon Musk popping up left and right. They come out of the womb as an Elon Musk.
I don't know. He seems kind of nutty, man.
He's a bit nutty.
But he's super smart, I'm assuming.
He's a fucking genius. He's building cars so he can fund his crazy Mars adventures.
Right. I know. I didn't even know about him till this Tesla, and I was like, who the hell is this Tesla guy?
Right.
And I looked him up like, Jesus Christ, this guy's just going to fly everybody to the goddamn moon. Like, what the hell? So he's making these cars just so he can make his own goddamn private, like, spaceships for people? Like, that's insane.
The guy reminds me of a fucking Austin Powers villain. He's like not a villain, but
$1 million.
Yeah, it just seems like
that's his net worth.
That's just kind of what he does. Dude, the guy's worth fucking probably trillions soon. Well, actually, Tesla is not a good business. I heard they do pretty shit. But I mean, I feel like that's just because they're putting forth such an investment.
Right.
They're kind of digging
and it could
themselves.
Come back.
Oh yeah. I mean, do you think that we're not gonna inherit all these electric vehicles and stuff like that? Like, I feel like that's where it's gonna go.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
They're not going anywhere. And the more and more we're worried about climate change, the more and more we're like trying to get rid of emissions. And if we can take wind and turn that into, I heard Texas, I think, was a state. It was the first state that next year they'll be taking in more wind energy than coal. So, nice. I mean, that's, if you're not watching on YouTube, I just shrugged. That sounds pretty good. I mean, if we can do that, then I won't, because I think I said it in another podcast, maybe not, that even if we got rid of vehicles or like gas powered vehicles, this electricity's got to come from somewhere. And if it's coming from a coal factory,
right,
that's not good.
See, and that's what I'm wondering. How many people do you know that are upgrading their car every 3 years? So even if we're all electric cars, like you said, if they're pumping out a gazillion cars a year and the factory that's making the car is using coal to power it, then it's kind of counterproductive.
Right.
And I always wonder, like, what are we going to do with the gazillion cars that, because I mean, there's junkyards everywhere. And like I said, there's just constantly every year there's 5 million new models of cars. Like, what the hell's going to happen to all of them?
You ever seen some of the lots?
Like the junkyards?
They're not specifically junkyards, but they're like models that they can't sell off. like last year's, and they just like have stock, but they don't want to like sell it off. So they're in an indifference. They're like, well, I can't sell it for pennies because I never get anything, but also I can't sell it anymore
because it's last year's model.
So then they're like, well, what do I do with it? And then you find like they're like airports, abandoned airports. They're just filled to the brim with vehicles.
Jesus.
And they're like just fine. They're just unsold. You can see them. They're all over. I'll show you a picture after. It's pretty fucked up because it's like, man, come on. There's poor motherfuckers that could use a vehicle,
right,
and like live in a vehicle. That could be a home for somebody. Like a van is like a van is like a goddamn what is that smaller than an apartment? A studio.
Yeah,
it's like a studio apartment for a van. Shit.
When I lived in San Antonio, there was a junkyard we went to that was that place is huge.
Yeah.
It was so big. They had like I think it was a tractor or a truck with like a hay wagon that you'd go there and you'd have to pay so much to get in. If you wanted to pick your own part, they could pull it for you for a fee as well.
Oh, okay.
And you tell them, like, I'm looking for a 2007 Buick, and they'd be like, all right, the Buicks are in the northeast corner between the VWs and the Nissans. And, like, you could ride this wagon. You'd just be like, all right, I'm going to the, between the VWs and the Nissans, and they would cruise you. And, I mean, there had to have been, like, miles by miles. This place was insane. So I went there coming from around here thinking like, I don't know, my car's not that common. And then I found a section that had like 37 of the models. And I was like, holy shit. Well, this is great. Now which one's in the best condition for the part I need?
Yeah.
But it was just insane. I was like, what? This is just acres and acres of land that's just filled with piles of shit,
right?
Because that's got a good hood on it still, and like, my God. So then, what happens when I take the glass good hood? Then what? It's just gonna rot there, rust out eventually. I mean,
could. I think. Well, chances are, who knows? You got to think all the ones that they're getting for like dirt cheap or free. And then like if they spend $20 on something, you know what I mean? I don't know the numbers, but if they get a bunch for cheap or free and then they spend on some, it all evens out. And then they're making a fuck ton because they're piecing it out.
Right.
Like they'll make it back 10 times over. So yeah, it does kind of seems weird because it goes on for miles, but if they own it.
Right. But I mean, how many junkyards are we going to have in like 50 years? Again, even if we go with electric cars,
right?
Then it's going to be 37 miles by 37 miles of just pure cars.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I've always just been I don't know why other people aren't, but I've just been I'm pro teleportation. Like I'm just pro teleporting. Like why can't we just work on that? Let's fuck cars, fuck planes. Why can't we just work on... Dude, they had it in fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They're like digitizing people and
that was based on a true story, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Shit.
See, that's bullshit. Government conspiracy shit, man.
Yeah, they show it right to our faces and then just say it doesn't exist. Fuck you.
It's a cover up, man. There's a documentary on that.
Right. Yeah.
My friend's actually working on one right now. He's producing one for Discovery.
Catch it on Discovery and History Channel. That's funny. I have one more subject before we get into the quotes at the end. And this is more like for just a joke for us. The Nintendo Wii-u, underrated console or what?
I think it was Jason that argued with me when I was like, the Wii U is a piece of shit. He's like, oh, it wasn't that bad. I was like, you fucking that tablet is the size of my kid, and my kid is a chunk. That thing was a brick, man.
Yeah.
That tablet is like the size of my Xbox One, man.
Right.
And that was your controller.
Yep, it was.
And I don't know. Some of the games are fun, don't get me wrong, but those same games I bought on the Switch because
Yeah.
even the Switch, the entire Switch system is like half the size of that single tablet. So I'd rather play the games on the Switch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That Wii U of all my systems is one that I am like 98% sure is not going to ever get turned on again. I don't even know if the thing works anymore.
Holy shit, dude. Man, you know, when I brought this subject up on a pad, I thought maybe you'd have at least one highlight to say good about it, but it really seems like you're really not into the Wii U. I definitely agree with you. It was a really shitty console. And
good concept, but
the concept was there. But like I think the tablet ran off of 24 gigs or 24 gigahertz Wi-Fi or 2.4, sorry. It's 2400. It doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. But either way, that's great and all, but also the Wi-Fi that it gave off was just just shit. Like I could get somewhere, but I'd have to have a clear lining to have that controller go any farther than 10 feet. You know, you had to be really close to that console. But I feel like the Wii U really made you want more, made you want that to just be an all-in-one portable fucking console. And that's where, you know, the next iteration, the Wii U Plus. Some people call it the Switch. I call it the Wii U Plus. That's where I think they finally did what they wanted to do. Because they just maybe, I don't know. If you look at the Wii U and then look at the Switch, look at how far they came. That fucking console was just fucking huge in comparison. They were trying to make it like, I don't know. I don't think they're obviously trying to go full portable, but they're obviously trying to get some sort of portability factor going. They went leaps and bounds from this gigantic 300-pound system to...
Yeah. And if you think about it, that's just a tablet's bigger than the Switch. The damn console is like 7.5 feet long, I think. Or,
yeah, it was...
I think it was only like 78 inches, but
yeah,
that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But that thing is so goddamn long.
Yeah, real long. And why was it long?
I don't know. I don't think it's because of its, you know, high-end processing power or anything like that.
Oh, no, nothing like that. Because maybe it... I don't know. I'm looking at your consoles over there. Maybe it wasn't...
Not in comparison, but it was like if you took the regular Wii and then just extended it out like 6-8 inches.
So it was the limo of the Wiis.
Right.
The Wii limo.
Wow. I don't know. I always think of luxury when I think of limos.
No, it's that budget small town limo with the ripped leather in the back kind of limo.
It's like a Ford Escort limo.
Ford Escort, pretty much. I don't know. It was an interesting concept, and I think they had the right idea. But for some reason, when was that even though? Because, the Switch and the Wii U, I feel like that was a pretty big difference.
Yeah, that was
in
huge difference.
Well,
you mean years?
That was 4 or 5 years?
Might even be 6, to be honest with you.
So
but the Switch has been out for a few years now, right?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I think I think the time frame was reasonable. Because especially if it was like look at where they came from though. They went from the Wii and then to the Wii U, and then like it was almost like an Animorph. You remember the Animorphs?
Yes.
So it was almost like the Wii Animorphed into a Switch, and the Wii U was like the middle phase.
4.5 years was the time gap.
Between Wii U and Switch?
Yep.
So
that thing's saying words at me. Is that your teleprompter?
Yeah, that's just it's the script.
Live from
that's just telling me that we recorded too much, and I just have to get up and play and awkwardly show people my ass as I walk
live
back
from New Richmond.
It's live on.
It's Saturday.
It is Saturday night. Holy shit! Well, now it's Sunday morning, but fuck it.
Yeah, the Wii U, I agree. I think it was a good concept, and I was hyped because the Switch is what I was expecting the Wii U to be. I thought
Right.
this is amazing. So I can be taking a shit, and I can play the game, and then I can go back into the living room, pop it right back on my TV, and now with the Switch, I can sit with my system, don't drop it in the toilet,
Right.
and bring it back, throw it on the dock, and bam, I'm playing on my TV, and it's just seamless.
Yeah.
So I was really hyped for it, and some of the games are all right, but it was just so big and clunky. I mean, I don't know, it was awkward.
Right. I feel you. Definitely. Yeah, we had a bit of a technical difficulty, just ran out of space on the SD card, but that's just the woes that you deal with live on NBC on Saturday Night Live,
It's rough. They've had a lot of budget cuts lately, so.
That is NBC, right? Saturday Night
Yes.
Live. Look at us. Just totally, we're so cultural.
Yes.
That was it for the subjects. So I keep forgetting in the podcast I got to keep saying that this segment at the end is called Fuck Up Your Philosophy. Maybe it won't stick, but I'm just trying to get your brain going, just kind of.
If I only had a brain.
Oh man. Oh, that's the Tin Man? No, not the Tin Man. He didn't have a heart. If I only had a brain.
Was it the lion? The lion didn't have courage. The lion didn't have the heart.
The lion didn't have courage. The Tin Man didn't. Somebody in the podcast is listening right now.
Scarecrow?
Like, you fucking idiots. Yes. Yeah? Is it the Scarecrow? Yeah. Tin Man didn't have a heart.
Right after you said we're cultural, we can't figure out.
Holy shit. Tin Man doesn't have a heart, right? Tin Man doesn't have a heart because he taps his chest and there ain't shit there. Okay, then
Boil me up.
Yeah, because remember the Scarecrow's a fucking idiot. That's why, because he doesn't have a brain. He's a dummy. He's only got hay in his head. Okay. Anyway, now that we just embarrassed ourselves in front of a live studio audience, fuck up your philosophy. Here's the first quote from Benjamin Franklin Wade. Isn't that just regular Ben Frank hitting us with a solid
Wade? What's the Wade part?
This is when he got married.
What?
I don't know. That was a bear. It was not a fart. That was a bear. Benjamin Franklin Wade. I don't know. It's just copy pasted, man. Maybe we're just also looking like idiots because Wade has been in there, but
we're so cultural.
So cultural here. So here we go. Go to heaven for the climate and hell for the company. I read that and I feel like it's because everybody's a piece of shit.
All the fun people?
Yeah, all the fun people. So what is heaven for the climate then?
Because it's hot as shit in hell, man.
Oh, so it's like just nice in heaven.
Yeah, and hell is like San Antonio in a nice June morning.
Oh, man, but I don't know. There's also not much air in heaven, I feel like. You got to bring an air tank just to admire the scenery.
See, I was a little confused at first because I thought like climate, like most people go south, like California and Florida for the warm weather. So, but then I realized like, well, but hell, I think is a little warmer than like California and Florida, even on a bad day.
Right? Yeah. Well, then I think we're also we're taking heaven and hell and considering it as a geographical location. Remember, these are like, we're making this shit up basically.
There's no air in space, you dipshit, Jimmy. And hell is the core of the earth, man. It's so hot you just burn instantly.
Right, exactly. I don't know. I feel like there's some definite truth to that. I feel like you go to hell for the people because I don't know how many people out there are not sinners by church standards, but I feel like we've all done something.
Yeah, that's what I've always thought too, is just that is, I mean, nobody's perfect. Everybody's gonna, so if every sinner, somebody that doesn't ask, I don't know, I'm not religious. I've never been, I heard that you've based off your other podcast, have a good background in religion. I don't have any, but I've always thought like everybody's going to make a mistake. And if everybody that screws up and doesn't go through whatever the steps are to get their forgiveness goes to hell, like that's going to be packed with a lot of good people. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the Charles Mansons and the,
Sure.
Jeffrey Dahmers of the world. I'm just talking about really good people that made a couple mistakes and didn't abide by the rules.
Right.
And I was like, well, if that's going to be the case, I mean, that's where I'm going. I don't even know what the hell the rules are. So obviously I'm probably not playing by them.
Yeah.
So
No.
I agree. There's got to be truth to that.
Yeah. I don't mean to go right back into religion, but I mean, I did pick a quote that did say heaven and hell, so kind of on a religious path, but I feel like it's just more of a moral compass, and maybe I've said that before, but it is just like, what is, I feel like morality is a general term, and a lot of things I feel like a lot of it's obvious. A lot of it is,
Right.
hopefully to some, it's obvious that what you're doing is morally right or wrong. And I feel like if we can just abide by that, then it's applicable to really any religion. It's just right or wrong. And as long as you understand and have some sort of moral compass, that's about the best you can do. White lies and stuff like that. It's like, they happen. That's not going to make you a horrible person and condemn you to some fucking hell pit for the rest of your, eternal being. Fuck. Seems a little drastic.
Yeah, that's what I've always thought. Like, man, if that's all the rules, like you're gonna have to put me in a bubble and in a coma. That's the only way I'm making it through this damn thing. Otherwise, because I mean, like you said, there's gonna be little white lies. There's gonna be. I mean, think about when you were a kid. You did stuff as a kid, like not horrible. Like I hope you weren't like kicking puppies or nothing crazy.
No.
But you did stuff as a kid that you wouldn't do now. Just silly little things,
Yeah, like break into an antique store to just look at stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I did. That's another podcast. I just wanted to look at stuff, okay?
So you're not going to hell because as a kid you hit your little brother. I mean, now, like, you don't hit people. It's wrong.
Right.
But you're not like your eternal damnation because when you were 7, remember pushing your brother down?
Yeah.
You don't hit others. That's
right.
That's wrong. Your moral compass is backwards, Josh.
Right. And also, like, those are just lessons to learn, I feel like. I'm definitely a different person than I was 10 years ago, and I definitely was a different person 10 years before that. And the experiences that I have throughout my life are what mold me into the person that I'm going to be, and that's just going to continue on for the rest of my life. And those lessons to learn are kind of, as long as you're learning from them, I feel like that's something to live for rather than, being like, oh shit, I got to make sure I stay on track and not be a bad person. And it's like, as long as you're, understanding and conscious of right and wrong, you're just fine.
And everything goes to football with me, but that's one thing they preach in football. Like, you're rookie, you're just getting started, like, you're going to make mistakes. That's fine. As long as you know your mistake and don't make the same mistake again. I mean, you learn from it. Like, if you make 100 mistakes, that's great, as long as they're 100 different mistakes. If you make 100 of the same mistake, apparently something's not clicking with you.
Right.
So, I mean, make the mistakes. Mistakes are good. I mean, failures are great as long as you're learning from them. Everybody's going to fail in something.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise you'd never become successful because it's either you were super skilled or you got lucky. And there's not a whole lot of super skilled people out there. Like, people, even if it was a big or a small, like, loss, people lost to learn how to make it farther. It's the people that don't pick it back up and try again that will never know because they just take the loss. But I don't know. You don't know until you try, and then you're not a bad person because you fucked up. It's just something you learned, and hopefully you took something from it instead of veering down the same path for the rest of your life. But just to wrap that up, we're all going to hell and we're all great people, so that's all that matters. Last quote here. We have by Benjamin Spock. Got 2 Benjamins this time.
Thought you were going Ben Stiller with that after our
Maybe
dodgeball.
I'm going to look up right before the end of the stream here, or not stream the podcast. I'm going to look up a Ben Stiller quote. I'm just to, go around. Because Benjamin Spock, isn't Spock like fucking Star Trek?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Isn't he the weird...
Yeah. TP for your bunghole?
Yep. Don't he have the pointy ears too?
Yeah.
He's the elf.
And the weird like head thingy going on, like the mountainous region throughout his forehead.
Yeah, and true story. Elf, the Will Ferrell movie, that's his biological father is Spock. Look it up.
I seen it in the wiki.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. All right. Benjamin Spock says, trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. And I definitely agree with that. I think it's just interesting that, I don't know, I feel like sometimes you have to find somebody that's totally not in your realm and not in your wheelhouse. Like for you, for instance, when you talk about some of the stuff that you can do at work, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about, man. And I feel like I could do the same thing with you. And that's just something we need to remind ourselves, is that just think of the things that you're investing yourself in as far as knowledge, or even if you're not investing yourself in knowledge, you're just like in your workplace. You might think like, oh, I just cook burgers, but dude, there's some people that like barely can put together a bowl of cereal.
Like my siblings.
Oh man. So I think there's something to say there, is that I think we always forget how much we know and how much we've experienced that other people haven't experienced, and that what we think is something simple actually is super complicated to some other people.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There was a time at work, a couple engineers, they've worked there. The one's actually plant manager now, but they've been there forever. I mean, super intelligent guys, really, really bright. They talk, and I just feel like an idiot because I feel like they're speaking in French. And I had told them the one time about some of the equipment I use. I was kind of explaining it to them and had mentioned something similar. And they're like, when you start working with that equipment, they're like, we don't know what the hell you're doing. So don't... To your point, like basically don't sell yourself short. Like you might think like, oh, we're so bright and intelligent because we know all this stuff, but you know a bunch of shit that we don't know. So I mean, yeah, we're good in our field, but you're also good in your own way. You know what I mean? So it's true. I mean, cooking a burger like that sounds simple and you can chuckle about it, but I mean, realistically, you've cooked forever. My mom always cooked for me forever. So when I got out, something as simple as cooking a burger, I mean, I cook a pizza. Yeah. And I'm not saying I ruin burgers, but it's not as simple as, you don't just throw it on there. You got to have the heat right. I think the first time I made a burger, I probably put it on high on the damn skillet and just torched both sides so it was half raw in the middle and pucked on the outside. So, I mean, yeah, you might just make burgers, but... Hey, when I was 20 years old, I was probably burning the shit out of one that was the worst thing I ever had.
Oh, man. Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, because that's what I thought, too. That's why I said burgers, because I say I cooked, but I really didn't. I learned some, but I really didn't learn, like, super, like, I don't know. I learned temperatures and, like, certain temperatures, like certain meats are supposed to be like cook this fish to this temperature, some flavor profiles, but I never got into serious chefing. That's why I never said I was a chef, because I never considered myself a chef. I wasn't scratch cooking per se. So, but I always would be like, oh man, I really don't know all that much. And then, I talked to Megan, and Megan has like a certain palate. Some of the stuff that I would cook, she wouldn't eat, which is fine. But she doesn't even, she wouldn't even know the first thing on some of the stuff that I cooked for her in these restaurants because she wouldn't even think about eating them in the first place. And then it's like, well, here I don't even eat fish, but I can tell you how to like, dress up a cod and cook it in the oven. And to me, it seemed like I really didn't know all that much, but then I seen somebody right in front of me that had absolutely no clue as to where, So I think it just takes somebody around you to kind of put yourself back into perspective. Like, man, I'm really, because I feel like some people just put themselves down because they feel like they're not worth, and what they're doing might not be all that, special. But I guarantee you there's plenty of people around you that you could talk about this stuff and they wouldn't have a fucking clue what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely just got to give yourself some credit, I think.
Extra credit.
Yeah, absolutely.
7 extra credit points.
Well, 7 extra credit. Isn't that a little pushing it? Because 7's a C right off the bat.
A C?
Yeah, like a C grade.
Are we talking 7 out of 10?
Yeah, like in school, 7 out of 10 would be like a C.
Oh, I'm saying 7 bonus points. So that'd be like 107%.
Wow. That kid gets beat up. Too smart now.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Where do we hit here? We're like we're grazing with all the little like the pauses in between. We'll be at like an hour 20. I'm pretty impressed. I didn't know how long we'd go, but I didn't think, with any of these podcasts that we'd be over an hour. Went through all the subjects. My first podcast was so fucking lame in comparison to all these other ones.
I didn't mind it.
I sound like a drunk, belligerent, high ass.
You could tell a difference because, like I said, I listened to your last one first.
Yeah.
Because it popped up, or it was the most recent one.
Right.
And then I was like, shit, I'm just going to listen to all these, so I'll start with the first one. So I listened to your last one first, and then your first one immediately afterwards, and you could definitely tell a difference, but you certainly don't sound like a drunken fucking moron.
Oh, I sounded like I was on drugs when I listened back.
You could just tell that it was your first go-round.
That's true. But
I don't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was at all.
At least I tried. That's what I wanted to do, is just put it out there.
I thought you and your brother did good on the one, too. Listen to your sister, the one with her eventually.
Yeah.
You and your brother had good chemistry. It's almost like you guys have known each other your whole lives or something.
Wow, yeah. If you think we got good chemistry, and not saying that me and my brother don't have great chemistry, but I'm just saying, like, me and my sister, it should sometimes, like, I don't know. Sometimes it looks like we're drunk, but we're completely sober, just like having a fucking grand old time. I don't know. We're just both really goofy, I guess. And not saying that my brother Matt isn't goofy, but I don't know. Sometimes we'll be sitting there and me and my sister will be like having this little inside joke kind of thing going on. And then maybe if it was just like Megan and Matt watching us, they'd be like, what the fuck are these two on about? We haven't had that kind of moment in a while, but that's just kind of how it is. I don't know. So it looks like it might have just skipped his gene, the fucking the dumbass gene, I guess.
See, I don't want to say that because I never met your sister. So.
No, we're not dumbasses, but for some reason I think we're missing something up there. No, we just goof around, I guess. But yeah, well, if you're interested, I'd definitely love to have you again.
I enjoyed myself.
Yeah,
if that kid would have slept a little better.
Well, hey,
her schedule's a little goofy today.
Well, you know what? Sometimes they rely on us, man. The kids, they rely on you're their hero. You realize that?
Horrible.
That's horrible.
Batman's a goddamn hero.
I'm just the guy who plays Batman on Xbox.
You're right. I am a goddamn hero.
Yeah, see? I'm telling you.
Tons of heroes, man.
Except you're only a hero if you have a live subscription. You got to have the live subscription.
I got 59 more days, baby.
Oh, shit. Well, cool. thanks again, man. I hope you guys are all having a good one. I suppose we'll just wrap it up here. I just want to say that I think each and every one of you listening, you're an absolutely perfect specimen of a human being, and I would gladly do a sexual favor for you.
And he's really good at it. So I've heard.
Yeah, so we're going to hurry up and shut that camera off. We got stuff to do. All right. Well, oh, geez. He's motioning already. Here we go. Well, before my mouth gets too full, I hope you guys have a good one. Until next time, peace.